Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a hypnosis session that was created for a very successful client, successful in business, successful in sports, that had issues relating to feeling worthy, feeling good enough, that manifested itself in accepting recognition, compliments, awards, celebrations from other people, because it created a feeling of dissonance that other people were telling him that he was good or successful or competent in certain areas, even to the extent of giving him big awards and trophies, but he didn't feel that in and of himself. And what was evident is that his belief system, that in order to be good enough, it was that there couldn't be an element of him feeling that he could have done better. And if he could have believed that he could have done better in some way, then he wasn't worthy of feeling good enough. And if he wasn't feeling worthy of being good enough, or didn't believe he was good enough, then he wasn't worthy of any external validation or compliments. And that, of course, is a paradox. It's a loop, because one feeds on the other. If you're not good enough, you're not worthy. But if you're not worthy, you're not good enough. So in this session, I actually utilized some of the sports and pastimes that he was interested in to create several analogies that paced his experience so he could see where his own frustration and feelings of lack of control were coming from, and it was from the belief systems itself. So I needed him to experience the frustration of constantly moving goalposts and a constantly moving finishing line to realize that actually if it was in a different way, and if he was able to accomplish something and feel good about that before taking on something else, that would feel better and give him more opportunity to create connection with himself and other people than if it was as it currently was. This hypnosis session, I think, would be very useful for anyone that has feelings of not being worthy, not being good enough. But if you are listening to this and you feel like the analogies don't quite fit, and you want something more bespoke for you, then there will be a link nearby where you can click to schedule a free 30-minute consultation call, and then I can discuss how I would work with you individually, tailored to your circumstances and your belief systems and your needs. In my experience, the belief system of not being good enough and not being worthy is very widespread. This isn't in the occasional person. Lots of people feel that they're not good enough, that they're not worthy of love, or not worthy of affection, or not worthy of success. You know, this is a key cause of self-sabotage and imposter syndrome. It does have one benefit though, and those people that don't feel good enough tend to be extraordinarily successful. And the reason why they do that is because they're constantly chasing super high standards in order to feel good enough, without realizing that whenever they do what they would consider to be, way beyond their perceived accomplishments, they just set the next finishing line even further. So there is a benefit. It keeps high levels of drive and motivation and big goals, but it creates a feeling of emptiness that nothing is ever going to be good enough, because that literally is the belief system. And the fear that people have if they have this belief system is that if they change that belief system, they're going to lose their hunger, they're going to lose their motivation, they're going to lose their drive. And speaking as someone that had this very belief system throughout my whole childhood up to my mid-20s, I can categorically say that that is not the truth. When you change that belief system of feeling worthy and feeling good enough and feeling that you even like yourself and you're happy in your own skin, you can still be just as driven and focused and motivated, but it comes from a different place. It comes from a place of growth and contribution and connection, rather than chasing this kind of intrinsic or external validation that you're never going to get with this belief system. Hopefully that makes sense. But if you are interested in discussing this more tailored to your needs, again, click that link for a free 30-minute consultation call, and I'll explain how I would work with you in that context. But for now, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Okay, take a deep breath in. And on the outward breath, allow your eyelids to close. That's it. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of relaxation. And as you exhale, I want you to get a sense that feelings of tension or stress are leaving your body in your outward breath. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to use the power of your imagination to picture a bright, vibrant color that represents resourceful relaxation. And as you breathe in through your nose, imagine that bright, vibrant color going in through your nose, filling your lungs. And notice that as you exhale, a darker, shadowy color leaves through your nose, representing the tension, stress, or anxiety that's leaving your body in your outward breath. I want you to imagine that this is almost like a transfusion, but not blood, just energy going from stress and tension to resourceful relaxation. The resourceful relaxation goes in, and more tension leaves. And as the tension leaves, notice that your body becomes more relaxed now. Tension in your muscles around your forehead, your eyes, just allow that to relax. In your jaw, again, as you breathe in and breathe out, you can find yourself going deeper and deeper relaxed. Neck and shoulders, and as your body relaxes, I want your imagination to do what your imagination likes to do, and that is to play. So allow your physical body to stay where it is as your imagination starts to play on a wild, rugged beach. I want you to imagine that you're there, perhaps as a child. I want you to imagine you're a child on that beach, doing what you used to do, which is just play because you like to play. And a child can run around a beach and find anything to play with. Stones that you throw into the water, shapes that you can make in the sand. I want you to feel how good it feels to give yourself permission to just be there on that beach in nature. Nothing complicated, just simple. And I want you to entertain an idea that you weren't born with any beliefs whatsoever. And therefore, each and every belief that you have had a point at which that belief was created, the point of inception. And therefore, if we were to go back in time to before that seed of an idea was planted, it stands to reason that we could plant a different idea. I want your unconscious mind to take you back to a time in your life before you ever believed that you weren't good enough, before you ever believed that you weren't worthy. Just inside your imagination, go back to that time before you ever believed those things. When you feel like you're at a point prior to those beliefs, let me know by nodding your head. You can't plant a tree in the same spot that a tree is already planted. And I want you to imagine what it would be like to plant a seed of an idea that you are good enough. You are 100% worthy, and you are good enough. I want you to get a sense that being good enough just means being good enough as a person, being good enough to live a good life, being good enough and worthy to have friendships, to have relationships, to have success in your life, and to work on meaningful things. It doesn't magically mean you're good enough to do complex technical things that you haven't learned yet, but you are good enough to learn anything you want to learn. And allow those seeds of an idea to take root at a point in your life before any other beliefs were formed about not being good enough. And while you're allowing those seeds to take root, I want you to imagine being on a boat in the water in a race. I want you to imagine that perhaps this is just a solo race, no other team. And I want you to form a belief that you are competent enough to sail this boat, and you're racing. But the real race isn't with other people, other boats, it's with yourself. I want you to imagine you're navigating the currents, the waves. And up ahead you can see a finish line. And the finishing line represents the idea that you are worthy and you are good enough. And I want you to imagine that as you get closer and you pass that finishing line, I want you to look that the finishing line just moves ahead another kilometer. And it feels weird. It feels weird because you thought you'd already done enough, and yet there was more that needed to be done. But you're resourceful, you're up for the challenge, so you continue on the boat. And then again you pass the finishing line. But you don't allow yourself to celebrate, you don't allow yourself to congratulate yourself, because guess what? As you look up, the finishing line is further ahead, like a mirage. I want you to get a sense that this continues to happen. Every time you feel like you've passed that finishing line, I want you to get a sense that the finishing line just moves further. And I wonder how many times this has to happen before you resent the idea of any kind of celebration. You resent any kind of compliments, any kind of recognition, because it feels like the finishing line has just moved further ahead. You haven't really passed the finishing line because you weren't good enough. And if the finishing line is ahead, how can you possibly celebrate the achievement when the real achievement is up ahead of you, with more work to be done? Time after time, you pass the finishing line and the finishing line just moves ahead. The moment you get close to it, it gets further away like a mirage on the horizon. And for a while, that makes you feel resourceful. That makes you feel driven. But when that finishing line keeps moving forward and forward and forward, a little bit of anger creeps out. Frustration creeps out. Because if whatever you do is never good enough, then how can you win? And if there's a belief system somewhere that in order to be worthy of love, you need to be good enough, and if good enough means passing this finishing line that keeps moving ahead again and again and again, you could start feeling like you're not worth anything, you're not worthy. You could feel like an imposter in your own body, in your own life. How long does this have to keep on happening before you start to feel very frustrated with this situation? And if you're already feeling frustrated at the idea that you can never pass a finishing line, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to get a sense that it is you that sets the finishing line. This is your finishing line. So let's try a different race. A different race where this time the finishing line doesn't move. You see it ahead, you pass the finishing line, and you feel that satisfaction of completing that race. You can still evaluate what you could have done differently in that race. And then you can choose to have another race with another finishing line. And what if, race after race, the finishing line doesn't move anymore? You would get accomplishment after accomplishment, celebration after celebration, joy after joy, a feeling of worthiness, a feeling of accomplishment, of success. And it would still not diminish your hunger to have another race, to do more, to be more, to accomplish more. In fact, each victory would spur you on to have more victories. And if this feels like a more desirable game to play, let me know by nodding your head. The first race is the belief that I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. The second belief, the second race is just by being on the boat means you're good enough. Just by playing the game means you're worthy. And finishing just gives you an opportunity to celebrate and learn. If you're playing the game, you're good enough. If you're living, you're worthy. Everything else is a bonus. And as you play that game, does that give you more joy? Does that give you more feelings? More feelings of positive, resourceful emotion. And I want you to notice that the moment that you believe that you are good enough, simply by playing the game, and you're worthy just by being alive, you open up a shell, a wall that's been built around you, because when you were playing the other game, that shell was to keep you safe from hearing untruths. But now the truth is that you are good enough and you are worthy. You don't need that shell to protect you anymore. So as someone gives you a compliment, you can take it. And as someone wants to celebrate with you, you want to celebrate with them. Because you are good enough and you are worthy. And if your unconscious mind is happy to accept this new belief to be true, let me know by nodding your head. And then find yourself back on that rugged wild beach and feeling like you're a child. And feeling that that new belief system that you're good enough and you're worthy has now taken root. And I want you to imagine going through from that age to your current age with a new belief system that you've always been good enough and you've always been worthy. And just allow your mind to go through the key milestones of your life through a new lens that you've always been good enough and you've always been worthy. You've just been reluctant to take what people are saying as truth. You've been rejecting gifts. been keeping people away. And as you go through those milestones, then rewind that and imagine what it would have been like to have believed that you are good enough. You now know that you have always been worthy and always good enough, but now imagine what it would have been like to have believed that you're good enough and you've been worthy all this time. See the different expressions on people's faces as you can celebrate with them. See that the people that perhaps have been niggling and criticizing, trying to chop you down, was because you weren't taking them with you. They've always wanted you to be at the same level, but now you're bringing them up with you rather than them feeling that they have to chop you down. I want you to get a sense, again, going through those key milestones, that as you feel worthy, as you feel like you're good enough, it has not in any way dampened your hunger. It has not diminished your drive. If anything, it's made you even more hungry to constantly evolve, to constantly do better, not because you have to do better, but because you want to do better. The energy is of growth, of development, of evolution, not of trying to win a race where the finishing line keeps moving. Your unconscious mind accepts that this is a better way of living, a better way of believing. And if you give yourself permission to now believe that in the past, in the present, and in the future, let me know by nodding your head. And then imagine the next few weeks with this new belief system. How much easier it will be to take a compliment. How much easier it will be to be around other people, that you can look at the faces of your children, your partner, your colleagues, your friends, and see them with slightly different eyes, through the mind of someone that knows they are worthy, knows they are good enough. I want you to feel that your capacity to connect with other people has always been limited by your ability to connect with yourself, and now that you are worthy of your own love, you can give and receive more to other people. As you now believe that you are good enough, you can recognize that other people are also worthy in and of themselves, even if they could do better. Now it's time to return to the present as you leave that wild, rugged beach. But you take this belief system with you, imagining that those seeds of ideas, those beliefs that you are worthy and good enough, has taken root from being a child all the way to adulthood. No room for any other beliefs or ideas. This is the dominant belief, and over the next few days and weeks, you'll have dreams and realizations and update the ripple effect of this belief system in many different areas of your life. As what was a seed of an idea is now an absolute conviction. It will not create arrogance. It will create authentic appreciation of yourself and your own abilities. People need validation from other people if they don't have it within themselves. Now that you have your own personal validation that you're worthy, you can appreciate it from other people. You just don't need it from other people. And if this makes sense, let me know by nodding your head. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox. the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.